Hey, welcome to Electros Classroom series. I am Daniel Qureshi, and today, my dear friends, we are going to see the applications of dependent electrical energy sources. And if you don't know about dependent electrical energy sources, then consider checking the video that I recently made using the link above, or you can also check it in the video description as well. Okay, so we'll one by one see the applications of dependent electrical energy sources, in which the first one is the current controlled current source. So how will we implement the current controlled current source? Simply by using transistors, and more specifically bipolar junction transistors or BJTs. Okay, so here is a simple bias transistor circuit. You can see these three resistances connected to the three terminals of the transistor, and this RL is nothing but the load resistance which we have to drive using this current controlled current source. And here this is the base resistance RB through which the base current is coming, that is IB, and this is the emitter resistance RA, which is actually connected in order to prevent thermal runaway or thermal deterioration of this transistor in an event of short circuit. For example, if this RL is short circuited, or if its value is changed to almost zero, or basically a short circuit, so this resistor actually prevents a massive current flowing through this transistor and eventually breaking it. And if you know the most basic equation of the transistor, that is IC equal to beta times IB, which means the collector current is actually a product of current amplification factor beta and base current IB, where this IB or base current is our input controlling current, which is controlling our current controlled current source, and IC is nothing but our output current which we want. So clearly from this equation we can conclude that our output current is actually a function of our input current, that is base current. So definitely this circuit can be treated as a current controlled current source. Now some of you might also be confused as to why the transistor is a current controlled device, even by the fact that we also have to provide a voltage between base and emitter terminal, that is 0.6 volts or 0.7 volts in the case of a silicon transistor. So can't it be a voltage controlled device? See, the explanation is very simple. The voltage that we require between the base to emitter junction is actually to turn on the transistor. So it is very essential that we provide at least 0.6 to 0.7 volts to the base emitter junction in order to start the transistor. Apart from that, this voltage has nothing to do with the output of the current controlled current source, that is our collector current IC. Okay, so this is just to start the transistor. After that, after the transistor starts conducting, everything is dependent upon this input current or the base current IB. So it is very important to note that it is actually a current control device. A transistor is actually a current control device. And now the most important question, where we can use the current controlled current source. You see, current controlled current source is basically an current amplification device, because we are actually amplifying our input current IB with respect to some constant, that is beta, which is current amplification factor of course, and we are getting our output which is actually an amplified version of the input current. Now here beta can be anything, usually it is greater than 1, but it can also be 1. Okay, so more specifically in cases where we require an amplified version of certain current, it can be any current. For example, it can be current output from a photodiode. Now output current of a photodiode is directly proportional to the intensity of light which is incident upon it. So it actually gives us a current output. Now the current output from a photodiode is very minuscule or very minute. So in order to further process the signal, it is very important that we amplify that current signal. And we can amplify this signal using our current controlled current source. And additionally, current controlled current sources can also be used as current buffers when the current gain is set to 1 or unity. And surprisingly, as we can use the BJT transistor as a current controlled current source, we can also use it as a current controlled voltage source. In the same way as we can control the collector current IC or the output current IC with respect to the input current IB, we can also simultaneously get the voltage drop across it, which is ultimately controlled by the input current IC. So here in this current controlled voltage source, this resistor is not our load resistor. It is actually a collector resistor. Because it is a current controlled voltage source, we have to take output voltage from any particular node. So for example, we are taking our output voltage from this collector terminal. Rest of the circuit is more or less the same. Now we will see how actually it works. Now for the calculation of the relation between input and output, here is our prerequisite equation again, which is our basic transistor equation, IC equal to beta times IB. Now please pay attention. V0 is our output voltage, or V0 is our output voltage. So using the basic Kirchhoff's voltage law, okay, we can clearly see that our output voltage V0 is actually a difference between the complete supply voltage, that is VCC, minus the voltage drop across our collector resistor, that is RC. And how we can find the voltage is using the basic Ohm's law, that is IC into RC. So our final equation is V0, that is our output voltage, is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. Now we can substitute our IC, which is beta times IB. By substituting, we will get beta RC into IB. Now beta and RC are both constant, and even our supply voltage is generally constant, that is VCC. So the only variable which is here is our input current IB, which is the base current. So hence from this we can conclude that we are controlling an output voltage V0 with respect to some input current IB, and so it is a current controlled voltage source. And one thing to note is that this circuit is active, which means that it will not load its preceding stages. That is very important. Irrespective of the load which we place, for example, if we place any load resistance across the collector and ground terminal, it will not affect our output voltage V0, because in the equation itself we cannot see the load resistance RL anywhere in the circuit, okay, because it is a voltage. Definitely it is only dependent upon our input current. That's why it is an active circuit. And now the applications of current controlled voltage source. You see many devices like analog to digital converters, comparators and microcontrollers that we use are only capable of measuring voltages easily. They cannot measure current as easy as voltage. So this circuit can help us to measure currents by first converting it into a corresponding voltage that we can use. And so this circuit can be considered as a current to voltage converter. And now our third type, which is voltage controlled current source. And the best example of voltage controlled current source is none other than MOSFET. MOSFET is basically a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. And this is our MOSFET, which is very much similar to that of BJT transistor in terms of the number of pins. It also has 3 pins as the same as in BJT. Okay. Here instead of the base we have gate, instead of collector we have drain terminal, and instead of the emitter terminal we have source terminal, where RL is the load we wish to drive. And now let's see the equation of the MOSFET current. Now here ID is nothing but the drain current flowing through the MOSFET as well as this load resistance RL is equal to IDSS into VGS minus VT whole squared. Now here IDSS is nothing but a reverse leakage current. Same in the case of BJTs, here we also have a reverse leakage current. It is nothing but, ideally the current should flow from the drain to source, but definitely there is some leakage in every electronic device. Okay, so it is also present in this device as well. So some current, some negligible current actually flows through the source to drain, and this current is represented by the IDSS, which is more or less constant if we keep the temperature constant. Okay, and the next term is VT, which is our threshold voltage. Now threshold voltage is the minimum voltage, okay, the minimum voltage which should be supplied at the gate and source terminals, okay, or between the gate and source terminals in order to start this MOSFET. Okay, it is very important. It is very much similar to that of the base emitter voltage of 0.7 volts that we require, but here its value can be anything, like 1 volts, 2 volts, 3 volts, 4 volts, but it is actually constant for a specific design of MOSFET. Okay, and the last term is VGS. Now VGS is the actual gate to source voltage which we are applying. If VGS is greater than VT, only then the MOSFET will turn on. Otherwise, if VGS is lesser than VT, then the MOSFET will automatically turn off. So from this MOSFET equation, we can directly see that the output current, which is the drain current or ID current, is basically IDSS into VGS minus VT whole squared, where two terms are constant, IDSS and VT, and the only term which is variable is VGS, okay, which will vary, okay. And due to this, we can clearly see that our output current is dependent upon our input VGS, okay. So definitely this can be considered as a voltage controlled current source. So what are the applications of voltage controlled current source like MOSFETs? Now let me tell you that these devices are very much efficient in purposes like switching or amplification. And here is the reason why. Because this device is voltage controlled and not current controlled, it actually means that there is no current flowing or virtually zero current flowing through the gate. Okay, even though we are applying some VGS voltage, there is some controlling voltage VGS which is applied, but still there is negligible current flowing through this. Unlike the BJTs, okay, in the case of BJTs or bipolar junction transistors which we saw earlier, there used to be a base current IB flowing continuously through the transistor, but here it is not. That was a current control device, this is a voltage control device. Now here, the current only flows momentarily when we provide this VGS. Okay, for example, when we start, at the moment we provide VGS, there is a capacitance. Okay, there is an internal capacitance. Basically, there is a silicon dioxide layer in MOSFETs. Okay, which is there between the gate and source, and that is exactly what it actually acts as a capacitance. Okay, and that capacitor or internal capacitance actually charge whenever we provide voltage, and so a small rushing current or transient current, you can say, flows through it, and it actually accumulates charges, and ultimately it has the same voltage which we have applied. And once this internal capacitance is fully charged, there will be no incoming current flowing through the gate. And hence, as here in the case of MOSFETs, we don't have a continuous current flowing through the gate, it actually saves a lot of power, because whenever there is a continuous current flowing through the gate or base of any transistor, it actually contributes in a power loss. And now our final type, which is voltage controlled voltage source. This is our operational amplifier, which is a best example of voltage controlled voltage source. This is the symbol of operational amplifier, and mostly op amps are operated using dual power supply. Okay, that's why we have V plus and V minus. And along with that, we also have these two input terminals, that is V1 and V2, where we supply two different voltages, that is V1 and V2. By applying these two input voltages, we get an output voltage V out, which is actually A into V1 minus V2, where A is basically an open loop gain of an operational amplifier, and V1 minus V2 is nothing but we can call it as a differential voltage or the difference in voltages. So in this simple equation, we can see that this A, which is open loop gain, is actually a constant, and the only two quantities which are variable are nothing but voltages. Okay, V1 minus V2, which is differential voltage. So ultimately we can see that V out or our output voltage is actually controlled by a difference in the input voltages. Okay, or you can say simply that it is controlled by an input voltage. The output voltage is actually controlled by the input voltage, and that's why we can call it as a voltage controlled voltage source. Now a voltage controlled voltage source can be called as a voltage amplifier, because we are actually amplifying our input voltage. Okay, we can consider V1 minus V2 as our input voltage. Okay, that is our differential voltage, and we are amplifying it by a factor of A and getting our output voltage. That's why we can consider it as an voltage amplifier. And so it can be used to amplify the voltage outputs of the sensor for further processing. And also remember that when the value of A is kept greater than 1, then only this circuit can be used as a voltage amplifier. Otherwise, if the value of A is kept as 1 or unity, then this circuit will act as a voltage buffer. And that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the lecture, and if you did, then please like, share and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any query or any suggestions. Thanks for watching, and see you there.